last few minutes I have, I want to talk about online stuff. I want to tell you a little story. Last year, no, it was 2 years ago, a student of mine at another school was active. She was on student government. And the student government in that school had to decide whether they want to call upon the university to kick Chick-fil-A out of campus. The reasoning was that the owner of Chick-fil-A was not only anti-gay marriage, but actually contributed money to groups that persecuted gay people in Africa, or so they thought. And there was a debate, and eventually the student government voted to ask the university to kick Chick-fil-A out of campus. And that student of mine was one of two people who voted against that measure. And she was asked by the student newspaper why she voted against it, and she said whatever she said. And that quotation of her is still online. If you Google it, you'll find it. We had a conversation, that student and I told her, you know, maybe this wasn't the smartest move, because you're going to be applying for jobs very soon. She was a senior. You're going to be applying for jobs, and if someone sees that you voted against that, and that someone either happens to be gay or identifies with gay causes, you're not going to get the job. She thought about this and she said, you know what, you may be right. And she got a job eventually and everything is all right. But there's a lesson to learn from this, which is these days we really have to be very careful about what we do online. This is not a call for any of you not to express your views, of course. We all have our views and we should share them, but we have to be a little careful about this. First of all, there are all sorts of privacy settings, and you need to make sure they're in place so people who don't need to see stuff about you that you don't want them to see don't actually get to see that stuff. Two, there are some issues that it's really a good idea to try to avoid discussing on the internet. Typically, they include issues of money, politics, religion, and there was one other thing that was but it's something to think about and consider. What are you writing? And what other people can know about you? Yes, I know. There are all sorts of laws in place. And these laws prohibit potential employers from discriminating against you because of your views, and we have First Amendment rights and all that. That's all very nice, but everyone Googles everyone. And my point in all this, because everything I've said so far you probably know, is that you need to be in a position by the time you're out of college that you control what people see online about you. Now, you all know when you Google something, most people don't go beyond the first page, right? So I'm asking all of you who try to Google me and see. And when you Google me, you'll realize that all the first 10 results are either people who have the same name as me, but they're not me. But anything that's about me comes from content that I personally can control. So there cannot be something on the internet about me that you will find and I won't know about. Or I won't be able to affect in one way or another, except perhaps rate my professor. Okay, fine. And this is important. You need to think about those things. Now, it takes time to build a presence online. Not only because search engines take a few days or sometimes weeks to actually find your website, but because building content takes time. It's not just about Facebook. It's about LinkedIn, which is the more professional network. It's about maybe your own website, or maybe you have a blog. All of those things are important, but they take time to build. And so start thinking about it right now. And that leads me to the other point I wanted to get you guys to think about, which is what can you actually do with computers? If you're not a computer science major, or you're not majoring in any area that requires heavy computing, you may not have given this too much thought. But at the end of the process, when you start applying for jobs, or even when you want to go to grad school, people want to see what kind of stuff can you do with computers. And it's a lot more than just being able to type out a Word document or prepare a PowerPoint presentation. People want to see more than that. Employers these days want people who can build a website, for instance. It doesn't have to be a very sophisticated website, but some sort of website. Employers want to see people who maybe can edit videos or can do some Photoshop work. Or, there are all sorts of other skills, maybe process data using software like Excel or SPSS. These are all skills that you can easily pick up while you're in college, regardless of the major you're at. In fact, many non-technological majors now actually offer some sort of training in those areas in various classes, because even majors like my department, history, we do realize that employers actually want those skills. And so we help our students get them. And we're not the only department that does that. So there are many ways for you to pick those skills up. And it's not such a bad idea to do so, because they're easily learned, and it's just one other line you can add to your resume. And so having what we now call technological literacy is part of those set of skills that I started talking about last time. It's not a bad idea to learn those things. It can actually help you down the road. Anyways, that's one other thing to think about this whole digital world that we're living in. There are more things to say, but I'm out of time, so I'll see you on Thursday. Thank you.